everyone, my name is Piper, aka the Bookish Panda, and today we are going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Jack Thorne. Also, I just want to apologize in advance. I have not been uploading videos. I'm very sorry. I've been in a show with acting camp every day for like the past 2 weeks, and my laptop broke. And also I'm sick, if you couldn't already tell. So yeah. Okay, so I finished this book the day it came out in about 2 hours. I didn't film this or upload this or edit this because the computer was dead. So I'm doing it now. It's kind of late, but you know, we're gonna do it anyway. Really interesting to see the Harry Potter books as a play. Like, this is a very interesting format to write it in, which I think was really, really cool. And you know, some things obviously aren't gonna make sense when you read them, but maybe some things will be explained in the live action play, but I feel like some things aren't going to be explained. Just some things didn't really make sense, and I'll get into that. Can we just talk about for a second how freaking annoying is Albus? Does Albus get on anyone else's nerves? Because I know he gets on mine. Same with Harry. And he doesn't seem like Harry. And Albus is just annoying. He's just moody. He's like Harry in the 5th book. Except for the whole thing. And worse. When Harry was talking to McGonagall like that, I really wanted to punch him in the face. I think you have to remember that this was not written like just by J.K. Rowling. She had mainly like 2 other people writing it. So it's not really like just her book. That's why it seems kind of fan-fiction-y. I know a lot of people see it that way, especially when Harry was yelling at McGonagall. I was like, this is not Harry Potter. This is like someone else. This is like a Wattpad fanfiction or something. Because characters are just like not acting like themselves. Hermione didn't really feel like Hermione. When she did feel like Hermione was when she was with Ron. I love Ron in this book. Ron is so funny. His chemistry with Hermione is great. One thing I've been wondering is why the frick is Scorpius a Slytherin? He seems like he could be in any other house besides Slytherin. He's really loyal to Albus. He loves books. He's like fangirling over Beholder Backshot, which is adorable. I think the fact that it is written as a play makes some scenes feel shorter than they are. You have the dialogue, but it's up to the actors to make it like drawn out, you know? Because if you just read it as like a normal book, it's not gonna be very long, but once you add like the emotion and the blocking and all that stuff, and it's gonna be longer. So some scenes in this book, like the feeding of Delphi was about a page long. Like Albus literally throws like a brick or whatever at her, and then she's done. And that's it. I think they go to Voldemort, and that's about it. She's like this all-powerful child of Voldemort, and her battle is like a page long. When she was down, I was like, is that it? She got hit by a brick, and now she's done. I actually wasn't really expecting Delphi to be the villain. I was just picturing, how old is she supposed to be? Because she's acting like she's really young, but I thought it said that she was like in her 20s. Albus seems to have like a crush on her. Seems like she has a crush on him too, which is weird. And she was like playing with and being their friend and stuff, like going along with this. That's really stupid. They're like 14 years old and she's 20, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna turn back time and, you know, save Cedric. Nothing could possibly go wrong from this. And she's like, oh yeah, let's go. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how they do all like the magic scenes, because there's a lot of like transfiguration or like turning into someone else. I think it's really gonna be really cool to see like when Harry is Voldemort, like his hand is turning back and all that. I really want to see how they do that. I think that's gonna be really cool if I ever do get to see it, because I really want to see it. When Delphi's like flying, I really want to see how they're gonna do that and all like the magic, and Albus like lifts a tower off and throws it at her. I also feel like some parts it was like harder for me to visualize in my head because there wasn't like as much describing. It's up to like the actors and the set designers and all that stuff and the blocking to kind of tell you where you are. And then we come to this part with the sink. Okay, Albus pulls himself into the sink. And then they sit there for a while, both of them in the sink. They just have a conversation. And then he takes the gillyweed and disappears down. There's so many things wrong with that. I mean, okay, so he climbs into a sink. This makes no sense. And if they're both in a sink, it's gonna be pretty crowded in that sink. So how the flippity flip did he dive down into a drain of a sink. It's not even like a bathtub, it's a sink. They dive down in a sink with both of them in it. I don't understand. How do they do that in the show anyway? They're climbing into a sink. This makes no sense. How does he dive into a sink if he's already sitting in it? It's so bizarre. Like, it makes no sense. And I love how we get to see what everyone is doing. What now that they're all grown up, and Ron is running a joke shop, and Hermione's like the freaking Minister of Magic. That's awesome. It'd be cool to see like how she's like affecting the wizarding world. And Ginny's writing. Ginny is a reporter. We already knew that though from Pottermore. So it's really cool. And Harry is working at the office. And then we get to the part where they have to steal Harry's blanket, which, like, the planning into it was pretty good. We're figuring out that the message wouldn't appear until, like, it's spilled with the love potion. I'm just wondering, how the frick did they get the blanket? And it says, okay, time to steal some wands, too. Okay, so whose wands are they stealing, number one? Because I'm pretty sure Matilda would carry her wand with her, and I don't think she's living with anyone else. So that means that they have to get wands from James and Lily. How? How do you get wands from wizards? They're gonna have their wand everywhere, especially if it's the middle of a war. You'd think they would be prepared and carry their wand around with them, you know? So whose wands did they steal? Where did they get the wands? And how the heck did they get the blanket off of baby Harry? I mean, we saw Lily leaving with Harry in a stroller, obviously going for a walk. So they didn't just like sit awkwardly like stalking them until they turned around and went back. That would have been too long of a wait. And they also had to brew this potion. I don't know how long that took. Also with the polyjuice potion, that seemed to take about like a day or whatever. I think like Delphi had some, or she just like, oh, I'll go brew one. But that takes like 2 months. So like, I'm so confused. And it does not make any sense. How did they get the blanket from baby Harry? It's on him. It's wrapped around him. Okay, yeah, so they have to take it from Harry, which is wrapped around him, while he's in a stroller going with his mother on a walk, where they're obviously going to be overprotective of their child because a freaking war is going on. And somehow write the message on it without them noticing that the blanket is gone, and then wrap it back around him and somehow not get caught. How? How does that work? I'm so confused. Just see them go right to writing it, but I think it'd be more interesting to try to see them get the blanket and somehow put it back on. If they put it on while he was asleep, how did they get into the house? You know, wouldn't Lily and James be there? I mean, it's a baby, and it's the middle of the war, and they know they're going to be followed by Voldemort, so they obviously would not leave their baby alone. I mean, who leaves their baby alone anyway? My favorite scene in the whole entire play is when they're all in Godric's Hollow. Fine. But if you say one thing about her or me, he'll do what, Weasley? He'll hug you, because we're all on the same team, aren't we, Ron? Fine, I think you've got really nice hair, Draco. Thank you, husband. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. The way Ron and Hermione interact, it's so cute. I love it. Also, the trolley lady is a demon. Alright, while they were writing this, they were just sitting down and like, what can we do that's going to be like the weirdest thing ever, but that we can get away with? And then they were just like, why not make the trolley lady a demon? They go on the top of the train, and then Scorpius is like, oh, the trolley lady is following us, and Albus is like, it's the top of the train, she's an old lady, and then she's there, and then she's like, no one escapes my train, and then she grows claws, and then they jump off the train. It's like the weirdest scene ever. It's things like that that's why people say this book is like fan fiction, because you have demon trolley ladies and climbing into sinks. Then when Scorpius gets out of the lake, they have their brilliant idea again. They're so stupid. And then Umbridge is there. Voldemort is alive. Harry Potter is dead. It was really, really weird going to see like what happened in Voldemort 1, and then Cedric became a Death Eater and killed Neville. And Ron has this really funny line where he's like, who knew the future of our entire world rested on Neville Longbottom? Ron is so funny, I love him. And we get to see Snape. Scorpius has this really, really nice, touching conversation with Snape, and he tells him how honored he is to be in his presence, and he just tells him how he died. And Snape is like, are you kidding me? It's by Voldemort. It's a really nice scene. And then Hermione is this like awesome warrior, which is really cool. And then they have this scene where Ron and Hermione, they say that they love each other, like they love each other in every alternate reality. And this one, and they get their souls sucked together. So does Snape. And it's just so the feels, all over the feels. Like, that's like the first time I've ever seen someone get their soul sucked out. I mean, not really, because it's not really like explained. But still, we were like, a character was there while it happened, which is, they got to be in the room where it happens, which is so weird. This other alternate world where Hermione is the defense against the dark arts teacher, which is weird. I mean, I know it's like an alternate world, but that's not what I would have expected her to be doing. I don't know, but she's like Snape. It's so funny. Just like, imagine like Ron trying to flirt with Snape. That's what I'm imagining. It's weird that like out of all the people that have died because of Harry, like they pick Cedric to go save. I mean, I know why, but what about like Sirius? Because that was totally Harry's fault. And then in this other world where like Ron is married to Padma, which is so weird, like that girl he just randomly went to the Yule Ball with. And in that world, like everyone is like stern like Snape. That's just like the Snape world where everyone is Snape. And then what I was thinking is that Albus would kind of cause Voldemort to come back instead of Delphi. When Bane said to Harry, "There's a dark cloud surrounding your son," I was like, oh, it's Albus. It's like Voldemort. He's like around Albus, and Harry's like, no, it must be Scorpius, like the sweetest child causing my son to be evil. And that was really stupid, that whole thing about like forcing them to be apart. And then Albus just goes along with it. Like, what are you doing? He's your best friend. You literally have no other friends. Why? What are you doing? I thought that Albus was going to like somehow like turn into Voldemort, which would be weird. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. It was just really stupid for Harry to just like assume that it was Scorpius. Because how you ever talk to the kid? He's like the nicest person ever. He's way nicer than your son. When McGonagall stood up to Harry with the Marauders map thing, and she's like, well, if I don't see them, they're not here. Even though Albus did like get on my nerves most of the time, he did have some like really cute scenes with Scorpius that I thought were really adorable with their chemistry, because Scorpius is so like hilarious and cute. And Albus, he's just like sarcastic, and it's really funny, and I love their chemistry. And then there's just the scenes where Albus is by himself, and it's just, why? Then we get to the scene where we transform into Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Albus has to block the door as Ron to distract Hermione from coming into the office. Like, how did she not bring it up later in conversation? I mean, she must have, and Ron must have been like, what are you talking about? I was doing something else at that time. No one could possibly figure out that that wasn't actually Ron. Are you kidding me? It says he's swinging his hips to block her from the door. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What are you doing? Like, how does that work? And then also, once they're in like the first alternate reality where Hermione and Ron are married and Ron's married to Padma, so they don't have the memories of the regular world, right? Harry, McGonagall, and JD, they all seem to be like themselves, except for Harry, but they still have memories of the things that happened in the regular world. So I don't know why only Ron and Hermione were affected. And then I love the scene where McGonagall and Harry, Hermione, and Ron are all talking about like what to do. Now, as we all know, this is a very serious matter. I can't believe you hid the Time Turner in a bookshelf. A bookshelf. Okay, but in my defense, the children didn't exist. Continue. You know who else acts out of character in this book? Hermione! The bookshelf thing was so incredibly stupid. I mean, she did booby trap it, but still the clues weren't even that hard. I mean, she could have made them like things that only like her and her friends would know, but it's like clues about Voldemort and like Dementors. Like everyone knows that stuff. She takes them back in time to the third task in the maze and then leaves, which is really stupid. I don't know why she would just leave them because they know what she's doing. So she just leaves them and they somehow leave the maze without anybody seeing them, full of monsters, and you can't cut through the hedges because you can't do that. The hedges move by themselves. How did they get out of that maze without running into any other contestants or any other monsters unharmed without wands? How did they do that? The maze is in the middle of the Quidditch pitch with thousands of people watching. All ends because it's a stadium and they somehow escaped the maze with no one watching them. How? They're dressed like Hogwarts students. If two Hogwarts students are coming out of the maze, they're not Cedric or Harry. People are gonna be very confused. Again, time turner. Draco takes it out and it automatically starts spinning and it says the others take their places around it? Like, what does that mean? I guess they're using it like a port key, but how does it know where to go? I guess you just like think of the place you want to go, but how do you know it like the exact time you need to be? So, you have to be standing in the spot that you want to be when you travel back in time. So it shouldn't be like a thing where you have to imagine where you have to be. You have to imagine the date of where you want to be because you're already in that spot. You can see my problem with this. It's so confusing. You have to know the exact date at the exact time that you need to be in that spot because you're already there, so there's no point in imagining the place where you want to be because you're already there. You need to imagine the time of where you want to be, which is extremely more difficult to do. How? It doesn't make sense. Well, that was my opinions, thoughts, and feelings on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I really liked it. It's just a lot of parts really didn't make sense, and I feel like most of the parts I was talking about are not really going to be explained live action. It's more of like a writing and continuity issue. We really want to see the show, and I think it's going to come to New York. It feels more like a fan fiction. Like, I wasn't really taking it seriously, like, that flashed to my mind with that scene with Harry. All in all, I pretty much enjoyed it, pretty much couldn't put it down. And then afterwards, like, going through it now, I'm just, like, realizing, like, all these problems, except for the sync thing. That one, I was like, what the heck is going on? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!